We're back. My phone rang. So don't you think a little practice is in order? Don't you think maybe you should learn by doing, right? The Hebrew way. Now, here's another interesting concept. I believe, and I can support it fairly well, and I'm not prepared to like pull out scripture, chapter and verse right now. But I believe that Jesus, Yeshua, was born during Sukkot. Oh yes, you can go back and look at, and people have, when John the Baptist was born. It says his father was serving in basically this squad of priests, and they can kind of figure out that that was around Passover time frame, and that's when John was born. Yeshua, Jesus, is born 6 months later. We know that from the word. Boom, that puts it into Sukkot time frame. Also adds more weight to the what do they call it? The creche, at Christmas when they have like the little sukkah that they have Joseph and Mary and little baby Jesus in. Yeah, all of that. Plus, John says that Jesus came to tabernacle amongst men. Interesting choice of words, right? Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Booths. He came to tabernacle amongst us. It goes deeper. There's a lot more meaning in there. Another thing is there's 7 feasts appointed by Yah, Moedim, appointed times. And Sukkot has not been fulfilled yet. Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, and Shavuot, or Pentecost, have already been fulfilled. The next 3 are trumpets, atonement, and Sukkot. They have not yet been fulfilled. And trumpets will be the final trump. That's symbolizing the final trump. Atonement is when it's all quiet and people are going, doh, the Homer Simpson doh. And then Sukkot, which is what we're talking about today, represents the millennial reign with Christ, our time with him. And so that has not yet been fulfilled clearly, but that's coming. And so how do you do Sukkot? All right, let's get down. I gave you that. Now let's just pull it back out. There are organizations and people that put on huge fests for Sukkot. People come from all over the country. They drive in by the thousands. And they pay thousands of dollars. And in typical American fashion, consumers, feed me, feed me, feed me. There's light shows, there's speakers, there's bands, there's dancing, it's a huge thing, man. And hey, you know what? If that works for you, go for it. I'm not a big extravaganza guy. I'll tell you this, Sukkot is meant to be a very happy festival, feast, appointed time. It's supposed to be fun, so have fun. Right? We read last time that it starts on the 23rd. When the sun goes down on the 23rd, that kicks off Sukkot. And so the first day, which for Americans is the 24th, right? That day, don't go to work. Take a day off of work, because it says you shall do no servile work that day. And then 8 days later, which I think this year is a Monday and a Monday, that's day 1, and then day 8 is also a no servile work day. And I think that's a Monday too. I should look at that. It's October 1st, right? And so that's a day off of work. So you got to take off work 2 days. Don't do any servile work. As far as the rest of the week goes, you're allowed to go to work. You can go to work. You just have to dwell in a sukkah, right? So you should come home and sleep in your sukkah, whether that's a tent or a camper or, a little fort you make in the backyard or whatever. And so you can go to work. But a lot of people take off for that week also, too. So what do? I tell you what I do and what we're going to do this year. We are toning it down at Shofar Mountain this year. We have people coming that we know. No, we're not opening it up to people we don't know. It's a family event. And when I say family, I'm talking about family, Shofarians, right? Or very close Israelite friends, family, people we know. And we're all going to be camping, and everyone's going to be kind of on their own as far as, food and shelter goes. But And we're going to do Torah reading. We're going to read in the Torah as a group every afternoon. And we're going to have campfires, probably several different little campfires going. People are going to cook on either stoves they bring or charcoal grills or campfires or whatever. They're going to prepare their meals. There's going to be chit-chatting. We're going to be living with other Israelites in a community-type setting in the outdoors, right? There's the 3 Sabbaths, you know, the first day, the Shabbat that's on Saturday, and then the 8th day where we will have services and do things. We will undoubtedly do crafty kind of bushcrafting things, just because that's a great time of year to do it. It's a full moon. It's usually great weather. You're out camping, you know, so you make spoons, you build another sukkah, you build forts, you teach the kids wilderness survival stuff. You sit around, and since you're chilling, oh, and let me read this to you too, because it's a good time. We're going to go to Deuteronomy. Whoop, wrong way. We're going to go to Deuteronomy, I think chapter 14. Yeah. It's right after people misinterpret the fact that you can't eat cheeseburgers. That's wrong. You can eat cheeseburgers. I do so regularly. No. All right. Tithes. Somebody asked me, do we bring tithes? You should tithe. You should tithe. Where do you tithe? Help out widows and orphans. Tithe where you're taught to continue ministries like this one, or others, you know, whatever. But the big part of it is to show that you think there's something more important than your dollars, right? Your stuff. So, you know, the ox is worthy of the corn, right? All right. Deuteronomy 14. Verse 22, thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth every year by year. Now, Sukkot is a harvest festival. You know, all that hard work was done all summer long. Now the food's bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. Right? It's a harvest festival. So everyone's worked hard all summer. The food's in. They know they're going to live through winter. Life's good. Woo-hoo! What better time for a party? Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, the field that bringeth forth year by year. Verse 23, and thou shalt eat before Yahovah, thy Elohim, the Lord thy God, in the place that he shall choose to place his name there. That's the tabernacle. We'll get to that. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and the wine is actually strong drink. It's not really wine. Of thine oil, of all the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, and thou mayest learn to fear Yahovah thy Elohim always. And if the way be too long for thee to bring your corn and your sheep and your big bags of drink, you know, whatever, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which Yahovah thy Elohim, the Lord thy God, shall choose to set his name there. In other words, you live too far away from the tabernacle in Jerusalem, the temple. When Yahovah thy Elohim has blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand. Money was silver, by the way. In thy hand, and thou shalt go into the place which Yahovah the Elohim shall choose, and thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth, and thou shalt eat there before Yahovah thy Elohim, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he has no part or inheritance with thee. Okay, so, hey, you can take part of your tithe, you can spend it on food and drink and happiness, and whether you bring it with you or you get there and then you buy it, and so that you can have a good time. And so, yeah, it's a party. It's a week-long party. That's how we treat it, a week-long outdoor camping party. We typically, again, this is not biblical, but it's just what we do to help make it fun. It says also, we read that last time, on the first day you'll wave your branches, right? So we do that. We usually have a parade for the kids, and you know, we do a little parade and everybody waves them. Because it's joyful and you're rejoicing. You're being thankful for who you are and that Yah chose you to pull you out of bondage, right? It's a very relaxing, comfortable, fun time. We also, the Shofarians, typically schedule a couple field trips, you know, for lack of a better term. We went to a museum last year. We've gone to vineyards, wineries, and visited them, you know, during the day, things like that, just as a group. It's just fun. And so we have some things planned like that this year, but, you know, OPSEC, right? Make it fun. Go camping with your friends. Read the Bible, right? That's how you have a sukkah. Build a sukkah. Our first one was a miserable affair. They got better. So, you know, just have fun with it and rejoice and realize that a lot of things are going on. I think that's the real birthday of Yeshua, though nobody celebrated birthdays, although they marked them because they knew how old people were. It's practice for the second Exodus. It's practice for what you're going to be doing during the millennium anyway. What do you like about Sukkot, Sister Kate? Don't worry, you're not on camera.
Fellowshipping with other believers.
Fellowshipping with other believers, she says.
Talking about Torah.
Talking about Torah.
Having fun times with fun people doing fun stuff all the time while it's fun.
Fun, 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 because Sister Kate's middle name is Fun. So, Sukkot, just do it. Do the best you can with what you got where you're at. It gets better every year. You'll have more fun. You'll have more depth of meaning being brought to you every year. I would tell you this. I would caution you on this. If it's not written in the Word, in the Bible, don't feel that you have to do anything traditional. If it's not written there, you don't have to do it. Doesn't mean you can't, but you certainly shouldn't get stressed out about it. Okay? If you want to go to one of the big extravaganzas, I'm sure if you just Google Sukkot 2018, you'll find them, although they're probably all sold out now. But maybe not. But I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with doing it in your backyard. Honestly. Pray to the Father to show you the way, and He will. All right. I'll see you out there.